Have you ever been playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition and thought to yourself, man, I really wish there was an enchanting system? Well, so did I, and that's why I made this. Probably the thing I'm most proud of and put the most work into. Let's talk about my homebrew enchanting system for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition with the pretentious name and horrible cover, Enchanting for the Novice, and a variety of enchantments for the brave adventurer. You try to be creative. So this is an entire overhaul of the enchanting system, or lack thereof, in D&D 5e. But remember, as the DM, it's your call, so as this says, don't limit yourself. It was my hope to give actual form and process to the enchanting system within Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, so I created this supplement. It even starts with this nice table that helps if either your character's enchanting something or you're paying someone to enchant it. It tells you what the item rarity would be, what the daily DC you need to pass to continue making it is, what minimum spellcaster level you have to be, how much it costs to create, I know those look like a lot, time required, I know that looks like a lot, and allowed failures for it to still succeed as an enchantment. How it shakes out is either you or a group of spellcasters spend time enchanting an item or a weapon or a piece of armor for you, and this is the table that you'll use to figure everything out. For every day spent working on it, whoever's enchanting it has to make an intelligence check or an enchanting check, which is new. And you have to pass it, which a daily DC is right there. Before you lose your mind about the cost, look, enchanting stuff is expensive. I'm not going to apologize for that. Same with the time required. You want something pretty awesome, it's going to take time. But also, more than one person can work on it, which essentially cuts the time in half every time. So, if you're getting something legendary made, chances are you're not going to have one person working on it for 10 years. You'll probably have a squadron of enchanters working on it, which will take a lot less. It's still going to cost a lot, and it's still going to be more than a day, or even a week, but it all works out. I introduce Enchanters Tools, which you can be proficient at. They're the same as Smith's tools, cooking utensils, and all of those tools, just for enchanting. You also need a pedestal, because you can't just be enchanting things all willy-nilly without some proper equipment. You can get a portable one, because magic's weird. You can get a cool Enchanter's Orb to give you a +1, +2, or a +3 on your daily checks. And then the Enchanter's Spectacles to give you advantage. Basically, I wanted to give several ways for people to not fail, because, failing on an enchantment, that's a lot of time and money wasted. There's even an Enchanter's Shield you can get, which allows number of failures by 1, so it can keep people from getting hurt, because when you fail at an enchantment, bad things can happen. Enchanting's like any other profession, you gotta have the right tools, which is Enchanter's Tools. It'll be an intelligence check, but it'll be an enchanting check, much like a smithing check or something like that. And you can have assistance, which cuts down on time. Formulas. This is obviously something that the DM and the player would need to discuss, but it's a nice little touch that can be used or can be left out. It's just something that gives it a little bit extra, hey, I created this, kind of thing. So it also does lower the DC for the daily enchanting check by 2. Remember me mentioning about how many failures you could have before the enchantment itself is considered a failure? Every time you fail, you roll a D100. Ooh, look at all the bad things that could happen. In addition, there are also perks, oddities, and flaws that you can get while something is being enchanted for you, or if you're doing the enchanting. To keep stuff from being broken, you can only get 1 perk, 1 oddity, and 1 flaw each on a thing. And on some things, you might not get any of them. Some things, you might get some of them. But you can never have more than 1 of each. Perks are if there is a natural 20 on the daily enchanting check. They're usually something pretty dope, but not game-breaking. Gives a little bit of extra personality to whatever you're enchanting, whether it be a weapon or piece of armor, magical item. An oddity happens when you fail a check. Luckily, you can only have 1, as I said. Most of the time they're funny. They're rarely helpful, as you can see. Fucking noisy. Oh, I'm so mean. And molting. What was I thinking? Glittering, yes. Flaws happen if you roll a natural 1. Again, luckily you can only have 1. These are kind of mean, but they're meant to be. Just look at this guy. I mean, he's not enjoying whatever happened. And then there's a breakdown of when you're enchanting weapons and armor, including ammo, shields, all that fun stuff. You got your basic weapon and armor of +1, +2, and +3, or adding special damage type of fire, cold, and lightning, or special damage resistance of fire, cold, lightning, acid, and poison. And like everything, to keep stuff from being broken, there are limits. And while players and DMs are encouraged to make up their own stuff, I do have quite an extensive list of special enchantments to give you a little bit of, I don't know, an idea how to make your own, or just you can straight up use these. There are a lot. From weapons, to ammo, to armor, to shields. And that's my enchantment system for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. If you liked it, be sure and check it out. Enjoy!